Hello YouTube. I hope you guys are having a fabulous Easter weekend. Today was 80 degrees, but your girl cooked and cleaned today. I didn't step outside. I didn't feel like it. I didn't have no plans. But tomorrow, I'm going to see Hezekiah Walker, Donald Lawrence, Vincent Bohannon, James Hall. If you haven't purchased tickets, you have to go on Vincent Bohannon's page or Hezekiah Walker page on Instagram. And there's actually like a Scantron on it I had to use. So you can't do it on your own. Somebody else has to scan it. So my son had to scan it, and I was able to purchase tickets and send it to different people. Again, that's 1338 Broadway in Brooklyn. Take the J train to Gates Avenue. Yes, it's gonna be a blast. I cannot wait. I haven't been excited to go to church in so long, since I was a teenager. Like and that's the way it's supposed to be. Like, church is not supposed to be the same way you get excited to go to Barclays or like anything. Like, church should be exciting. It should be something that you want to do. Don't let nobody make you feel like, oh, church is supposed to be boring. Like, no, it's supposed to be lit. So I cannot wait. I've never seen Donald Lawrence in concert. I love his music. It's classic. Hezekiah Walker, I have seen him a few times, but he's good. And Vincent Bohannon, I was introduced through my son's teacher. And it was a blessing because small world, Vincent Bohannon actually grew up in the school that I attended. So he grew up in the church, which is Pilgrim Assemblies. So small world. I haven't been to 1338 since elementary school. We used to perform there for our concerts. So to be over 20 years later to go there, very nostalgic for me. Yeah, so it's gonna be so dope. I can't wait. I'm leaving my house at 4 to get there for 5. It's gonna be a long line, so can't wait for that. But tonight I wanted to talk about Tubi. I just love Tubi so much. Oh my god, the movies are so good, like, for real. So Kamal Smith is a very well-known writer for Tubi. He has a movie called You Remind Me, and I'm like, I wanted to talk about this and just kind of ask people's opinions and how they feel. Every writer has a theme. So some people, their theme is men empowerment or women's empowerment. The theme for Kamal Smith is vengeance. So the first movie I seen of him was A Good Man. It was about a man who was taken advantage of from a girl who did not appreciate him, and so she cheated on him with a guy who didn't even want her for real. He had his own family, and she had the audacity to invite this nigga to the house. That's one thing you don't do. The bed with your man is sacred territory. If you gonna cheat, you should do that at his house or a hotel. Just saying. I've never cheated, but if I was to cheat, I would not invite no nigga to the house I share with my man, because that's just lack of respect for yourself as a woman, first of all, because he wasn't even doing nothing for her. So it was just sad, because it's like, this dude is from jail and he don't do nothing but fuck you, and you gonna cheat on your good man husband with this nigga. Like, it was just crazy. So the husband comes from a business trip early. That's another reason why you shouldn't do it, because that person lives with you. How you know that they're not gonna come in just anytime? You know what I mean? Aren't you afraid that they might catch you? And that's what happens. He caught them in bed and he just went off. He tied them up. He invited his family over. He killed the family, the child and the wife. She was like, you had a whole wife? Da, 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 ba, ba, ba. And even though it's a movie, it was justified, because you don't do shit like that. And you just don't do shit like that. Now in part 2, he went a little overboard. She was wrong for not telling him she was married, but he went overboard. So it was like, She killed him. She called her husband. He came over and killed the both of them. Like, he was on a rampage. So he's a serial killer, and I guess there's a part 3 for that, you know. I'm in love with a stripper. There wasn't nothing vengeful about that. But there's a movie called The Wrong One, and she's stupid enough to get with the, you know, she dated the architect, and then she kisses the musician, the broke ass musician living with his friend. Why would you be attracted to that? So he's unemployed. She knows that he's unemployed, invites him into her home. He starts beating her, which is very typical for a man who doesn't work. And that was her fault. Like, I don't feel sorry for her at all. And then in this movie called You Remind Me, it's very predictable. That's the only thing about his movies. Like, it's very predictable, except for A Good Man. But which is not bad, but it's good to have a twist sometimes. But it was so obvious that it was going to end up the way it did, because in You Remind Me, and it's brand new, it just came out this year, it's basically about a woman who seeks vengeance that her friend married her ex-boyfriend. And again, I don't feel bad for the wife at all. Like, that's so fucked. You know, we all make mistakes, but your best friend, not an associate from church or school, somebody you just casually see, whatever, but someone you broke bread with, somebody that you hang out with, somebody that you talk on the phone with on a daily, your best friend, and you gonna marry a man. That's wrong. Like, so what happened was 15 years later, and during the time he was messing with her. So the way the movie starts out, she's like, oh, he cheated in the past, and he was like, that's the past. So he was cheating on her with the friend, and the wife didn't know. So she knew he was cheating, but she didn't know it was with the friend. So the friend, 15 years later, they run into a coffee shop. I kind of knew that wasn't no coincidence. That was kind of obvious. Like, how is it that she just, you know, she's homeless, whatever. And I wanted to briefly talk about that. And I feel like I've said it before, but I need to say it again. If somebody's down on their luck, you cannot let them live with you, because if you let them stay with you, and after 30 days, they can claim squatters' rights. Now, the law in New York City has changed where a person cannot do that, but it's a brand new law. It's a baby. So it's going to be hard to kind of prove that, you know, you don't really want this person in your home. You know, if they get in mail there, whatever, you know, and in LA, you cannot evict the person. And there was another movie that I recently seen. It must have been, I guess it was last weekend I seen it. And yeah, like, the girl was living there, and she was supposed to be the caretaker, and they tried to get rid of her. She went to the police, and they was like, you cannot evict her or whatever. Like, even, yeah. So she moves her in the house, and the husband is like, why are you doing that? That's, you know, she found us, you bent over, and now we're married. Like, you know, she's like, she felt guilty. She knew that she did her wrong, and she was trying to, like, repatch shit, you know. So, like, yeah, so they start hanging out, and, like, little red flags. Unfortunately, they slept together. They bring that out in the movie. They messed around in college, but the girl does that to time, like, fuck with her head. And she comes home from work one day, and they all cuddled up on a couch going down memory lane. She calls him babe right in front of her. So, like, all the red flags were there that she was in process of taking her boyfriend back. And truthfully, she's not wrong. Like, I want y'all to comment, like, and subscribe. If someone marries someone's ex-boyfriend, who's wrong? The ex-girlfriend or the wife? I feel like the wife was totally wrong. She was a complete bitch. She reminds me of Terry from Soul Food. Like, Terry from Soul Food, I don't feel no sorry for her. Like, you was a bitch. You never supported your husband, and so that's why he slept with your cousin. You deserve it, because you know, very condescending. People that are condescending or have very low self-esteem, and they showed that in the movie. She was very insecure, and the girl was even telling her, like, yo, you need to have better self-esteem with yourself. But it wasn't shocking because this girl talking about, this my money, this my house. You never say that to a man. And he was working, so it was weird she would say that like he's a bum nigga. Like he had his own career and stuff like that. But every single day she's talking about, this my house, this my money, da da da. So in the end, guess what? Her best friend pulled a gun out on her because she had like tried to kick her out. So she pulled a gun out on her and was like, guess what your husband's favorite dessert is? My pussy. Ha ha ha. So he comes out, they start kissing, and he was like, you dumb bitch. That's why you put my name on your will, and I'm gonna get all your money just in case something happened to you. So they shot her dead. And I don't feel bad for the wife at all. Like, you sat there and put it in his face that that's your house, that's your money, and then you married your best friend's husband, not slept with him, you married him. Like, you didn't even like mess with him one time and tell him to leave you alone. No, you married the nigga. Like, and this was your best friend, not an associate, not somebody from church or work or school. Your best friend, you do that to, you know. And it shows that she had insecurities. It shows that she was ultimately fucked up inside. That's why she did that. And the ending was just so funny because he's like, I'm hungry, da-da-da. She's like, I'll cook for you, da-da-da. I feel like if they make a part 2, he's probably going to cheat on her. Like, because he seemed like he a user. Like, he married the woman, she became a self-made millionaire. He married her for money. He was messing with the best friend because the best friend never wanted to let go. But it doesn't mean that he loves her either. Like, it seemed like he a user. The best friend, she never like stopped loving him. So I hope they come out with a part 2. You know, Kamal Smith is very talented. I hope he just keeps doing his thing. But the theme of his movies, it seems like, is vengeance. And each and every scenario is justified. I be like every time I watch his movies, like, it's so good because, and I wanted to say this and I can't stress this enough, the way you treat people will come back to you tenfold. So for those of y'all that think y'all better than somebody because of this X, Y, and Z, first of all, you could lose it in a second. If COVID didn't teach nobody that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could lose it. Whatever you have, your job, your house, apartment, whatever you have, you could lose it tomorrow. Nothing is guaranteed. So for her to sit there and constantly put him down because she got a couple of mil, that's wrong. You know, for her to marry her best friend's ex-boyfriend, you're nasty, you know. But that was her karma, that he killed her, because that could make anybody angry. You on day in and day out, this my house, this my house, this my house. Like, why would you say that? And it's so common too. It's so common, you know. And then my thing with a person like that, if you paying for everything, why you with him? It shows that it's giving desperate. It's giving, so you can't get a nigga that's paid. You gotta be with somebody that you feel is beneath you and you paying for everything. Like, you know. And throughout the movie, it was red flags that they was messing around. She was like, no, you need to be catered to, and da 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 da, and, you know, right in front of the wife, like letting the wife know, bitch, this my man. You know. So I love the movie. I encourage you to watch it. It's called You Remind Me on Tubi. And yes, basically, what would you do? What would you do? As most people, for me, I would just move on and let karma deal with the person. Because when people do me wrong, karma has always come back to them tenfold. Each and every time. So I don't sweat it. You know, she went the extra mile, and 15 years later, she's, you know, getting with him and stuff. He might turn on her because it's like they always say, you know, be careful how you get them. Even though that was her man first, like, that's still kind of weird, you know. Yeah, so comment, like, or subscribe. Kamal Smith, he's an up and coming writer, and I think he's doing a great job. Yeah, those are my thoughts.